What's up guys, this is Miasin. So today we're going to be going over a bunch of Snake Eye combos and deck profile because I promised you guys post ban list I will be revisiting a bunch of decks that got nerfed. And Snake Eyes, even though it did get nerfed quite dramatically with Appaloosa getting banned, Ash and Populous going to 1, and Lacrimosa getting banned, so that pretty much means that the Fiendsmith Engraver is no longer a 1-card combo. The deck is still pretty good. You still have 12 1-card starters and some other cards that can still do some things, even though you're not really always going to be going full Snake Eye combo. This deck is definitely something that you should be on the lookout for, and it's still going to be relatively competitive until we get Rage of the Abyss, after which it'll become tier 0 again because the Azamina engine is going to fix the consistency issue completely. Anyways, before we go any further, y'all, you know the drill, smash the like and subscribe button, and if we can get the 1000 likes on this video, I will be making the spreadsheet video on this deck as well. And with that being said, let's get right into it. So normal summon Snake Eye Ash, that's obviously combo number 1, no shit. I get the Populous and then summon itself, and that's going to be searching the Divine Temple. You're not really trying to search original when you have that, because then with the original, you start losing way too hard to nib. But yeah, get your Snake Eye Diabell Star, which you're going to be sending for the Oak, revive back the Ash, link off the Ash and the Pop for the Moon of the Cool Sky, get back the Diabell Star, link 1, summon the Fiendsmith from the deck, and then get back the Requiem so that you can send it for the Oak. That way you don't have to send the Snake Eye Diabell Star, the card that you equip. And then Flamberge and Engraver for Sequentia, summon back 2 monsters. And Fuse for 3 for DS ERA. It's a little neggy, but it still works. Link off it to IP, and then Princess, even though you're using 2 Link 2s to make a Link 3, don't worry about it. It's still gonna work out. And then Princess provide by the Flamberge, which then gets back the IP. And then Snake Eye Diabell Star on the Oak, or whatever, doesn't really matter too much. Sequentia, target the DS ERA, and then negate your own Princess. And then you're gonna be going into Silhouette, set the Azaroon, and just like that you have 6 interruptions, which is the exact same amount of interruptions as before. The only difference is that we're not making Appaloosa at the very end, we're really just making the Silhouette. In terms of power level, practically the exact same as last format. Okay, so now what happens when you draw your 1-of Snake Eye Populous? You're kind of forced to play it out, because if you have that and Bonfire, it's a little unfortunate. It's not like you can go Bonfire into Snake Eye Ash, and then you go normal summon Snake Eye Ash. It's not gonna do too much, so you pretty much have to commit to Populous when you draw it. So it basically is a Garnet now. But yeah, search the original, which this time you have to, because Divine Temple doesn't do enough. It gets you Snake Eye Diabell Star, but come on. It's not enough bodies because it doesn't allow you to keep going. And again, it's not like we can go into Beatrice to send a Snake Eye monster now, so that's the reason why the Fiendsmith engine is more of like an extender in the deck rather than a way to start your engine. But yeah, as you can see here, we're not going to Snake Eye Oak. We might as well keep it in the deck so that we can search it next turn with the original Sinful Spell Snake Eye by also putting back the Flamberge Dragon. So that's a way that you can recover. So yeah, really good grind game when we open Snake Eye Populous, or even Wanted with like Diabell Star and stuff. Well, I mean, the Wanted is not even that much of a necessity, but that's just a free draw 1 on top of that. Very similar to Snake Eye Ash combo, but without Azaroon, and the Princess has to stay on the field, which means that you're a little more vulnerable to losing to like a Dark Ruler, or like even an Ogre on the Fiendsmith DS ERA would be huge here. But if we can get to negate something on our opponent's field, we can negate our own Princess as well, because this can negate up to 2 cards, so we can negate our own Princess, and then we can still go Flamberge into IP, link off the Princess, and then the Princess is now in the graveyard, so we can start using its effect, and then do some nice things. So yeah, it's pretty much the same thing if things go well, but again without the Azaroon and the Silhouette, which is not the end of the world. It's still a nice combo, granted that all we had was Populous and nothing else. So what can you do when you have Snake Eye Ash and the Fiendsmith Engraver? I mean, it's a really nice combo, and it's also Nibiru proof, because your first action is going to be Caesar in 5 summons, which of course I'll take it any day of the week, right? So yeah, track this into Lurie, so that's 3 summons, and then 4 summons with the Fiendsmith. Hold on a second. Can I count? No, yeah. Lurie was summon number 1, Requiem was summon number 2, and then the Fiendsmith, summon number 3, and then this one, summon number 4, so summon number 5 is gonna be Caesar. There you go, Merry Christmas, so Nibiru doesn't do jack shit. And then normal summon Snake Eye Ash, and from here on out, it's not exactly the same thing, because we already went into the Link 1, so we can't go like DS ERA and everything, so obviously we have to play a little differently, unfortunately. But it's still going to be a really nice board. It's just that Moon of the Closed Sky doesn't do much, so yeah, instead of going to Moon, we're going to go into IP, and then the rest is pretty much the same. Oak, summon Flamberge, etc, blah blah blah, link off into Princess, and then summon 2 monsters. And then Princess revive back the Flamberge, get back the IP. Yeah, I mean, it's Snake Eye, what can I say? But this time we're gonna be going into sorry, no, not Zealantis, Raging Phoenix or any Link to Fire just so that the princess goes to the grave. And we're gonna make a Hope Harbinger Dragon Titanic Galaxy. I can see this card seeing more play now that Caesar might be more of a priority. So if you want to be safe from Nibiru, Caesar is now your best friend because Appaloosa is now banned. And if you want to have some negates, then Hope Harbinger might be the best replacement for DSA Ray. Because honestly, DSA Ray, it's a little neggy, honestly. So you might as well you only use the Fiendsmith engine as a way to climb into Caesar. You might even want to play like a very minimalistic package because they're, like I said, not that great, unfortunately. Anyways, Regeki is not going to be doing jack shit because I can just go negate, but then my opponent has a second Regeki Bernard, which is completely fine because now my Populace can get back the Flamberge, and if my opponent summons anything, I can go Flamberge, well, Divine Temple on it, and then Flamberge on the IP, and then IP into SP, and then banish a card, and I still have Princess in the graveyard as well as Zealantis. So yeah, it's gonna be relatively hard to kill me, and yeah, what can I say? Snake Eye best deck, and also the follow-up here is insane, because again, you recycle back your one of Snake Eye Ash, and then you search the original, and then this can search your Birch, etc. So yeah. Okay, so this time we have the absolute best hand that this deck can have, so Snake Eye Ash, Diabellstar, and Engraver. Honestly, when you draw well, this is where the deck is really complicated to play, but when you draw Ash, then it's super obvious. But yeah, normal summon Snake Eye Ash, and then use its effect. And then you can go Populous Effect, and we don't necessarily have to go Engraver first, we can play differently, and also respect Droll a little bit more, because if we get Drolled on the Engraver, it hurts so much. But yeah, like, I don't really care too much if I get hit by Nibiru, because I have so many ways of recovering, so I don't really have to, you know, rush a Caesar in 5 summons exactly. And also, I'm trying to get as much advantage as possible, so I summoned that Necrocore Princess before using the effect of Engraver, and then since a monster effect was sent from the hand to the graveyard to activate a card or effect, I can draw 1 card. So that's the best way of maximizing the advantage that you're generating. And yeah, I'm summoning Caesar on summon number 75, but it really doesn't matter because at this point, I summoned so many, I mean, I generated so much advantage, I have so many ways of recovering that Nibiru doesn't really beat me at this point. But yeah, Diabellstar get the original, and then Snake Eye Diabellstar get back anything, it doesn't matter because we're just gonna send it right away, so yep. Summon the Oak, and then revive back a monster, and then make an IP Masquerena, I believe. Yeah, no, actually summon the Flamberge first, there we go, and then make an IP, and then summon 2 monsters from the graveyard. And we're gonna be going Tractus into Luri so that we can discard it, and then revive it back, and then make the Fiendsmith Link 2, because this can also make a DSE Ray on top of the Caesar and the protection from Nibiru. And then again, Princess, revive back the Flamberge, and then Flamberge plays the IP in the Spell and Trap Zone. DSE Ray, negate the Princess, and then that way we can start making a non-fire Link 2. So the Silo had to get the Azaroon, and we also drew a card. And we didn't have to discard a card from our hand for Diabellstar, so we also have 2 other cards in our hand. So we have this huge-ass board with 4 cards in hand, and the Snake Eye Ash is recycled back to your hand because the Oak never really had to summon it back. We can just recycle it back. This is something that I think will become more relevant now because the card is now a one-of, so you can do that with Populace or with Snake Eye Ash, but this deck is going to change completely from how you used to know it, so yeah, keep that in mind. Snake Eye is still very good, but you have to play it, like I said, just a completely different way. Alrighty, for the deck list, we are playing a huge amount of non-engine cards, so 3 Imperm, 3 Ash, 3 Ogre, 3 Nibiru, 3 Veiler, and Double Bestial, so that's 17 hand traps. And I really wanted to main deck the Angel Statue Azaroon. This is very good for multiple reasons. First of all, when your combo goes through, well, this card's just overall really good. Because it's a Solemn Warning and also triggers the Silo Hat so that you can also destroy a spell or trap. Very good against Standby Dragon. It's like a 2-in-1 package deal. And it's also very good against other decks like Yubel, for example. It's just, I really like this card. So you destroy the Nightmare Pain, and then the summon Phantom of Yubel, and then you negate the summon. Yeah, everything about this card is like insane. And it's also very easy to get. It's just 2 monsters. And Undershifter, it gives you this kind of backup plan. You also have like the IP with Divine Temple play, but now that everything is just like a one-of, when you lose access to them because you got shifted, your follow-up is going to be non-existent because you have practically no bodies in the deck. So that's the reason why I think Silo Hat maybe with like generic bodies might be a little better. But yeah, or maybe you can't really like afford to banish those monsters and link them off under Shifter. Like I said, the deck is going to change a little bit. But yeah, Divine Temple, Luri, Tractus, 3 Fiendsmith. You can also cut these 4 cards and only play 1 Fiendsmith. And then also cut DSE Ray and the Link 2 monster so that you have 2 more space in your extra deck and 4 more spaces in your main deck so you can main deck 3 Cross Out and Call by the Grave. That's a very good idea as well if you want to do that. It's just that now you have a little bit of gas because in terms of starters, the deck doesn't have that many starters. It's really just 1 Snake Eye Ash, 1 Pop, 1 Original, 3 Bonfire, 3 Witch, and then 3 Wanted. Back in the days, the Snake Eye Ash was a 3 of, Populist was a 2 of, and then the Engraver was a 1-card combo. Now it's no longer the case, so that's the reason why I'm saying that, unfortunately. For the cards that aren't great, but you still have to play them, 1 Snake Eye Oak, 1 Birch, 1 Snake Eye Diabellstar, and then the Flamberge. The Birch is much better than it used to be. Well, I mean, it's more like it's a mandatory card to play now, because when you draw like weird hands with a bunch of Bonfires and Populists and Snake Eye Ash, well, I mean, the only other card that you can search that does something would be Birch. So at least it summons itself from the hand, because you're not trying to search Snake Eye Oak since you can summon it from the deck, unless you can special summon the Populist or send it to the graveyard with like Diabellstar. So yeah, this card's kind of like a necessity now that we don't have a lot of names. I know I'm repeating myself, but that's like the main reasoning behind like all these ratios. And then Oak, you can also play a second copy if you really want to. Very bad to open with and having nothing else, but again, at least it kind of gets you there. And for the extra deck, Moon of the Close Sky, the Link 1, the Link 2, the SE Race, Caesar, Necroca Princess, and then the Zelantis OTK that we can now play because the extra deck space is a little less tight than before. Access Code, Promethean Princess, Silhouette, Hita, SP, IP, and Relinquished Anima. So obviously I think pretty much everything here makes a lot of sense. For the idea section, I actually don't have anything. Like I said, you can main deck Cross Out and Call by the Grave instead of like the other 4 cards. Yeah, Selene, I can't really think of like any applications other than Selene into Access Code. That's about it. And at this point, you might as well commit to playing like all the other Charmer monsters like Lena and Dark, the Dark Charmer. And yeah, you can also main deck Molchim Iparolia if you want to, or Droll and Logbird. I don't really care. Hope Harbinger, another great card that you can play. And you can also look into playing a second Flamberge, but then you're gonna have so many bricks for the amount of good cards that get your stuff going. Those are just a bunch of ideas that I wanted to share with you guys today. Anyways, that's it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And again, I will be back with more Snake Eye, like Fire King, Melodious. All the other alternatives, I'll make videos on them really soon, as well as some other decks, so it's not just going to be Snake Eye. I'm also going to be delivering that Blue Eye spreadsheet video really soon, so yeah, stay tuned, and I'll see you guys very soon. Peace.